Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Thursday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and we are back talking more Pittsburgh sports news today and some interesting news coming out of the South Side today. The Steelers hosting four more draft prospects for pre-draft visits, 3 top 30 visits, and 1 local visit. We're going to get to that here in a moment. Got some other Steelers news as well, a little bit of Penguins news, a little bit of Pirate news. Not many big topics here today, but we're going to get started here in a matter of moments here with those 4 draft prospects. The first of many more here going to be visiting with the Steelers in the coming weeks leading up to the NFL draft on April 24th. Get to the banners here, and we are going to start right there. Steelers hosting 4 prospects for pre-draft visits here today. Let me get that banner up there as well. So I said yesterday that business was going to pick up on this front a little bit with college pro days winding down and the NFL league meeting for this month now in the book. Head coach Mike Tomlin, general manager Omar Khan, and owner Art Rooney II all returned to Pittsburgh yesterday, and I think are pretty much done with extracurricular activities between now and the draft in late April. I don't believe that the Steelers had more than 10 to 15 top 30 pre-draft visits as of yesterday, but now there are about to be a lot more in quick succession. Yesterday, Texas wide receiver Matthew Golden posted on his Instagram that he was in Pittsburgh, and today he and 3 other prospects were in the Steelers building. Along with Golden, there was Iowa running back Caleb Johnson, Florida State corner Azariah Thomas, and on a local visit, Pitt tight end Gavin Bartholomew. I'll start with Golden, currently my number 4 wide receiver in this class on my draft board. He's 5'11", 195 pounds, an absolute blazer running a sub 4.3 40-yard dash. And one of the comps that I saw for him that I think is pretty spot on is Stephon Diggs, or maybe a much smaller George Pickens, for both good and bad. Guy who, can make some highlight reel catches, get some separation, but also will not give 100% when he knows the ball isn't coming to him on a certain given play. For Johnson, he's currently my number 5 running back on my draft board. He ran a 4.57 40 at 6'1", 225 pounds. Had a phenomenal production year at Iowa this past offseason, rushing for over 1,500 yards and 21 touchdowns. And I think he would fit very well into the Steelers' Arthur Smith zone run scheme. Johnson, if you go and you watch college football, you know that Iowa isn't one of the premier offenses in all of college football, but Johnson really put a lot of makeup on that pig's face to, make it look somewhat competitive there in the Big Ten. As for Thomas and Bartholomew, I haven't done a deep dive on the tight end and cornerback class yet, but Thomas is a tall, lanky corner like Joey Porter Jr., and as for Bartholomew, he's a Pitt guy, and he could possibly be a day 3 investment to compete with Donald Parham Jr. for the Steelers' tight end 3 job. Other than these guys, like I said, there's going to be many more visits coming within the next handful of days, including some that have already been reported and scheduled, but just haven't happened yet. One of those I saw today is defensive tackle Joshua Farmer from Florida State. You also got some other visits like bunch of quarterbacks, Jackson Dart, Will Howard. You got a couple more Ohio State guys like Trevion Henderson and Quinshawn Judkins, Emeka Egbuka as well. So more and more visits are going to be coming here. Probably within this next week will be most of them, so that the Steelers can meet with their scouts, meet as a big organization, and get their final draft board ready. Brings me also here to some other Steelers news that I have for today. The Steelers announced today that they now have a marketing and content partnership with German Bundesliga soccer team Borussia Dortmund. I'm being totally honest when I say that I have no clue what this partnership means, but my guess is that this has something to do with the NFL Global Marketing Program expanding just a couple of days ago to where the Steelers are now being marketed in Mexico, Ireland, where they're going to go play later this year, and Germany. In their announcement of the partnership, the Steelers said this will, quote, further both clubs' efforts to each other's markets through joint team activities, content, and fan engagement initiatives. Also, from my interpretation of what the Steelers posted, very, multiple thousands of miles view from here to Germany. My guess is that this Borussia Dortmund team is kind of like if the Steelers were a European soccer team. The team wears black and gold. They come from what looks like a town with an industrial past. And on top of all of that, they did play at Heinz Field in 2018, so they have been to Pittsburgh before. I guess let's just say wait and see how each side can benefit from this partnership. I know the Steelers are going overseas really for the first time in a while over to Ireland to play a regular season game. I know the NFL has played regular season games in Germany before as well. So Steelers with this partnership with this soccer team could, go to Germany one day in the not too distant future as well. Also, this kind of related to the Steelers just because so many people are up in arms over it. Late this morning, the New England Patriots traded quarterback Joe Milton III to the Dallas Cowboys in a pick swap in this year's draft. I believe Milton was a late round pick last year or the year before, something along those lines. I can't remember which year they sort of blended together these past two quarterback draft classes. And Milton, late round selection. And when he started a couple of games in relief for Drake May and Bailey Zappi last year for the New England Patriots, he did flash some serious potential, strong arm, somewhat mobile quarterback, kind of like what he did with the Tennessee Volunteers in college. And you couple that with, the Steelers still starving for some starting quarterback news, and you had I wouldn't say most, but you had a good portion of Steelers Nation thinking that Milton was some sort of second coming of Mike Vick or something, that, he should have been traded for in a heartbeat. I didn't see it. I have no doubt that Milton is going to be a high-end backup quarterback in this league to where, if you need him for, say, 3 or 4 games, he's going to provide you some great QB play, but I don't think it's something that's going to be sustainable. If you bring in him, I mean, what's really the point of it? You're probably just going to sign Aaron Rodgers and have him and Mason Rudolph and some sort of mid-round draft pick as your quarterback room for this year and push all your chips in on a quarterback in the 2026 draft when it's in Pittsburgh. So didn't really see much sense in trading for Joe Milton. So now he goes to the Dallas Cowboys, and it was confirmed that the Steelers were in on Milton because I think it was Alan Saunders, Steelers insider, said the Steelers did make an offer, but it wasn't as strong as the Patriots offer, and Milton wanted to go to Dallas more than he did Pittsburgh. So guy didn't want to come here, and you didn't want to pay decent draft pick for him to sit behind Aaron Rodgers or Mason Rudolph or whatever. So no sweat for me passing on Milton here. This isn't something big that the Steelers are missing out on. So just Steelers Nation, please move on from it. Just going to go over some Twitter scrolling here, see if there's any new news. There is a bit of news there. I guess I can count that as Steelers news. So the Chicago Bears have signed Tinley Park's very own former Steelers wide receiver, mainly a special teamer during his time in Pittsburgh, Miles Boykin, to a one-year contract. So Boykin showed prime example right there that even if you play one position, if you can contribute on special teams, you're going to find a place in this league with a team for a long time. And that's what Miles Boykin is doing. I believe he was with the... Is he with the Chargers? No, he wasn't with the Chargers last year. Who is he with? He didn't go back to the Ravens, I don't think. But, I don't know. Miles Boykin was with someone last year. I don't think it was the Ravens or the Chargers, like what's coming to mind right now. So, Boykin finds a new home in the NFL. Not really seeing much news here. So with that, I'm going to move on to some Penguins news ahead of tonight. The Penguins going to be back in action here in under 2 hours, 8 p.m. puck drop against the St. Louis Blues. Back to normal form, tank master Tristan Jarry will have the net for the Pens opposite Joel Hofer for the Blues. St. Louis, really two teams on opposite ends of the ledger here. St. Louis, a 10-game win streak. I believe that is an NHL high for the season. 10-game win streak right now, so I'm not expecting for much to go right for Pittsburgh. Just going to tune in, see how Rucker McGroarty and Ville Koivunen do, and not get my hopes up much beyond that. In addition to announcing Jarry as the starter tonight, head coach Mike Sullivan did confirm Evgeny Malkin is on the trip and that he was skating this morning. On the other hand, Tommy Novak and P.O. Joseph, they are not with the team on this road trip, and I'm not even entirely sure if they're skating. So most likely looking with, I think, 5 games to go now, you're most likely looking at their seasons being over. Also, the Wilkes-Barre Baby Pens, they were in Pittsburgh. They were practicing at the Penguins facility, so Pens left the light on for their minor league team. Got to see Owen Pickering and Sergei Murashov and a couple of other of the Penguins' hot prospects this year practice in Cranberry. Keeping the ice nice and fresh there for the big league squad as they are on a 3-game road trip. Still scrolling through Twitter here. In the meantime, really not much Aaron Rodgers news over the past 2 days. It's been very, very quiet. You got to wonder if something else is going to come up here to stir the pot more ahead of the Pat McAfee live show on Wednesday. I will be in attendance for that show for possibly the city welcoming of Aaron Rodgers if he pulls the stunt that we all think he wants to do. Walk out there on Pat McAfee's live show and probably wear like Steelers paraphernalia and, say I'm here, get a nice pop from Pat and his crew and the city. Signs a 1-year contract, probably going to be in the $25 to $35 million range, if I could guess. And he'll be here trying to hold off this man, seeing a picture from Mason Rudolph's Instagram story. Goatee Mason is something else. So, regardless if Rodgers comes here or he doesn't, goatee Mason Rudolph is about to run rampant on this NFL. Pat McAfee, on the Pat McAfee show earlier today, Tone Diggs saying that Rodgers is probably going to be there, show up. The McAfee show, they're really playing dumb to this whole situation, thinking about the possibility of Rodgers coming out live at their big night out. Me and my father will be there. I think they're playing, almost too dumb at this point, pretending that they don't know anything when they probably do. So it's got to be a thing, wondering if it's going to be a first thing out, start to show off with a bang, or a last thing of the night. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be the last thing to happen. Rodgers coming out, keep the fans in their seats as long as possible. Also, not really Pirate or Penguin related, I should say, but Alex Ovechkin getting closer, 3 goals away from that historic mark of Wayne Gretzky's goal record. And it's getting closer to what we all thought it was going to be. Ovi being 1 away from the record when he comes to Pittsburgh for the final regular season game of the year. Okay, going to switch over to some Pittsburgh Pirates news. For right now, not much going on in the world of the Pirates today as they're off tonight, but we'll be back on the field tomorrow for their home opener. That is a 4:12 first pitch home opener against the New York Yankees. Probable starters for tomorrow's game. As of right now, left-handed pitcher Max Fried for the Yankees, former Atlanta Braves, signed a big deal in the offseason with New York. He will go against right-handed pitcher Mitch Keller for the Bucs. Derek Shelton, calling up Thomas Harrington, extending Paul Skeens out another day and pushing everybody else behind him back down a day. So instead of having Bailey Falter, Andrew Heaney, Carmen Mlodzinski as your opening series starters, you'll at least get Keller and followed by Falter and Heaney. I will be live for that tomorrow. Hope you all join me back here tomorrow I'll probably go live around 4 p.m. to get the stream up and running before first pitch. Bucs are 2-5 right now to start the year, and going against the Yankees, probably the second best team in the MLB behind the LA Dodgers at the moment. Not expecting, much of a fight there. Something that could help them. This is the news story of the day for the Pirates, is that utility man Jared Triolo is going to be the first Pirate to follow, I guess you can call it, a controversial trend in the MLB right now. According to Noah Hiles of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Triolo has ordered a few of the very popular torpedo bats to Pittsburgh, and they could be there before tomorrow's game. For those of you who don't know what the torpedo bats are, basically take your MLB bat, move some wood around from the shaft of the bat up towards the, middle to bottom of the barrel where the ball is going to make most contact with your bat, sort of give you a thicker sweet spot when you hit the ball. So torpedo bats on their way to Pittsburgh for at least Triolo for the time being. If I'm Derek Shelton, I'm saying my team on paper is bad offensively and even worse in real life. I got to have every single one of my guys with one of these torpedo bats, even though it, gives you little help. You still need it. The Bucs opponent tomorrow and the Yankees, I mean, they were the first team to really put this new style of bat on the map and showed off their effectiveness by hitting like 5 or 6 home runs in the season opener. I mean, that game in the season opener last Thursday was I think it was they were playing the Brewers. That game started at 3 p.m. The Bucs game didn't start till, a little past 4, and I looked at my phone before I hit live, and the Yankees are up like 13-0 on the Brewers. Aaron Judge hit like 3 home runs, almost hit a fourth. Couple other guys hit home runs. So this torpedo bat, must be having some sort of effect on the baseball, give you some more pop, and hopefully these are something that could help the Bucs, help Jared Triolo first and foremost. I mean, he's a guy that would probably need it the most on the Bucs offense. I'm trying my best not to make that a slight against Triolo, but we all know he's not he's not Barry Bonds when he walks up there with the bat. So if this can help the Bucs in any ways, they need it to jumpstart their offense. They need all the help they can get. So hopefully this Triolo is just the first of many Pirates to use these torpedo bats. 5 of you in here right now. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Also, feel free to like and share the stream and comment in the live chat. Get some regular viewers in here asking questions, making comments. Love interacting with you fine folks. Pretty much all the news that I had for the day. The Steelers hosting 4 more, I should say, draft prospects. 3 top 30 prospects in Azariah Thomas, corner from Florida State, wide receiver Matthew Golden from Texas, and running back Caleb Johnson from Iowa, and also had a local visit with Pitt tight end Gavin Bartholomew. I'm not entirely sure what the count on the top 30 pre-draft visits is up to right now. It's probably, in the teens right now in terms of, who's actually there in the scheduled visits. And from what I remember, there's only been 3 local visits thus far. You had Wyatt Millum, offensive guard from West Virginia, and then you had 2 Pitt guys, kicker Ben Sauls, and now tight end Gavin Bartholomew. Looking at the standings ahead of tonight's Penguins game, Penn's currently 25th in the league. But teams below them, the San Jose Sharks, Chicago Blackhawks, Nashville Predators, Boston Bruins, Seattle Kraken, Buffalo Sabres, and Philadelphia Flyers. The Pens currently have 71 points. As of right now, it is a 2-headed race for, best odds to get the top pick in the draft lottery. That is San Jose and Chicago at 50 and 52 points respectively. Then you got a bit of a space. The third worst team in terms of points in the NHL this season, the Nashville Predators with 62. And then after that, the Pens right now, they are in a big field of teams who could, have the 4th best odds for the number 1 overall pick or the, 8th best odds. You got the Bruins at 69 points, the Kraken and Sabres at 70, and the Pens and Flyers at 71. So Bruins were on a 9-game losing streak. They play the Montreal Canadiens here tonight, and the Penguins, again, they're playing the Blues on a 10-game winning streak, and need to lose this to get a top 4 pick. It's really, within reach, and I'm haven't really in years past gotten much into, who the top prospects in the draft are, unless they're like a super big name that without even, uh, you know, just looking from the outside in, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Rasmus Dahlin, Connor Bedard from years past. But now that the Pens are in it, I'm starting to know more and more about these prospects. You got, I believe it's Gavin McKenna. He's up there. I think you got a Porter Matone there as well. Kyle Dubas just a couple of weeks ago went over to Sweden to look at two prospects. Believe their last names were Eklund and Fronlund. So Pens, at the very least, they're looking for a top 4, top 5 pick right now in this, tight pack race to the bottom with the Flyers, Sabres, Kraken, and Boston Bruins. Going to take a look here. I believe we got some Pittsburgh Pirate news. All right, I don't see it here. Let me go here. Just saw this buzz on my phone a minute ago. This is going to make some Pirates fans pretty happy. So the other night, the Bucs traded for outfielder Alexander Canario from the New York Mets in exchange for cash consideration. Canario used to be a pretty decent prospect with the Chicago Cubs. Then, couldn't really find a spot on their major league roster consistently, went to New York, and now the Bucs have picked him up. So Canario is now officially on the 26-man roster and the 40-man roster. He will be with the big league club, probably get announced tomorrow pregame to make room for him on the Bucs 26-man roster after a pretty rotten start to the year, after once again being a spring training warrior with the bat and on the base pads. G1 Bay has been sent down to AAA Indianapolis. And we got some additional news here. In addition to that, catcher Jason DeLay, who was DFA'd just 2 days ago, he has been traded to the Atlanta Braves for cash considerations. So, I mean, you option Bay to AAA. That I take that as a move all and of itself. You basically there traded Jason DeLay for Alexander Canario. I'll take that trade. Kind of like Joshua Palacios a couple of days ago, leaving the team. Palacios, by the way, elected for free agency. He signed this morning a minor league contract with the Chicago White Sox. Just like Palacios, like Jason DeLay as a player, was a gold soldier, came up here, did his work, was probably, even right now, up until he got DFA'd, the best catcher in the Bucs system. So Jason DeLay, good guy. Wish nothing but the best for him. Hopefully he is going to be that missing piece with the Atlanta Braves, who I think are still winless on this young season. So watch DeLay there. Already good defensively. The Braves are probably going to unlock some sort of magical hitting talent of his, and he'll become a catcher who earns himself a nice payday down there. So Canario on the team, Bay sent down to AAA Indianapolis, and Jason DeLay traded to the Atlanta Braves. Wish nothing but the best of luck to DeLay, and welcome to Pittsburgh, Alexander Canario. I believe I have an autographed card of him. I think it's not in this room at the moment. Probably bring it on for tomorrow's stream when they announce the opening day roster. I can flash that on the screen. I got a autographed Canario card when he was with the Cubs in the Topps Chrome update from last year. Yep, now the news is making its way around Twitter. Bay down to AAA. Gotta wonder how many options he has left. This is, now a couple of times that he's been sent down to AAA. How long before he gets DFA'd? And I mean, it's just so disappointing that things aren't working out with him here in the major leagues, because he has the speed to be an elite defender, and he goes down to AAA and he hits the cover off the ball. He's sort of like an outfield version of, I hate to put this designation on a guy so young into his career, but kind of like what Henry Davis is right now. Guys who absolutely rake against minor league pitching, but then when they come up here to the big leagues, it's like they've never even held a baseball before. I'm going to do one last scroll through Twitter here before logging off. Not really seeing much here. Picture from Noah Hiles, who I just mentioned earlier in this stream, on a plane right now back to Pittsburgh. Wonder if that's him coming back on his own, or if the Bucs are still down there. If I'm the Pirates, I'm thinking, get back to Pittsburgh, get the jet lag out of the way. I would have traveled home yesterday. Seeing lots of hilarious reactions to G1 Bay getting sent down. Aaron Donald crying when he won the Super Bowl. That's hilarious. Looking more here. Interesting. Kind of something that I've kind of known here for a while now. Ray Fittipaldo, who is Steelers insider for 93.7 The Fan, says he thinks it's safe to say that Art Rooney II will, quote, pass the baton to his son. I believe his son's Danny, here within the next 5 years. Not really of a shocker there, honestly. I think Rooney's 72 or 73 now, and the Chief, Art the First, I believe he retired at 75. So Rooney only got a couple more years left in him, which honestly I'm okay with. He sort of started to make mad the masses here within the past, really since Seven retired, and wouldn't be surprised if he follows in the footsteps of the Chief. And I think by then Mike Tomlin's contract will be expired. The extension that Tomlin signed, I believe, last offseason, I believe his contract will expire when Rooney turns 75. So it'd be very poetic for the for Tomlin to, maybe take a walk away from the Steelers, or see that, things have run dry here, and for Rooney to go off into the sunset and pass things over to his kid, who, from what I've heard, Danny Rooney, his son, is much more of the football mind than Art the second is. So hopefully we actually get a guy who cares about football back in there, and he can select his own the next, Noel Cowher Tomlin, just a new voice in that room. Hopefully the Steelers have a quarterback, a franchise quarterback by then, but if not, I have much more faith that Danny is not only gonna, pick one of those, but also pick the coach to develop one of those future prospects into a franchise quarterback. Not seeing much more. So yep, and that appears to be it for the news right now. So the Bucs coming in at the buzzer with a late roster move. Forgot to hit the breaking news sounder. I'll hit it right now. There we go. Okay, so not much people in here tonight, but regardless, if you're, if this is at a future time you're watching this, I appreciate you for watching, and like always, like and share this stream and comment and subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live. Hope you join me back here tomorrow. I will be live for the Bucs home opener. Like I said, Mitch Keller on the mound against Max Fried for the New York Yankees. Probably going to be another loss, but hey, if it's something that, creates real change, firing Derek Shelton or Ben Cherington, I'm here for it, and you can react along with me. So appreciate you all. Thank you very much for joining me here tonight. Like, share, comment, turn on notifications, and subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys back here tomorrow at around 4 p.m. for Bucs and Yankees. Thank you. Have a good night.